Commander Velzara stood tall, back straight, gaze sharp. The weight of her ornate war armor shimmered under the cold artificial lights of the dread cruiser Syndral's Claw. Her breathing was calm, controlled. Her reputation as a dominator of worlds, enforcer of the Ketheri matriarchate, was legend. No male, alien or otherwise, had ever dared speak to her without trembling. Yet this human, strapped to the vertical slab of interrogation stone, didn't cower. He bled from the temple. His uniform was torn. But his jaw, it clenched with defiance. Those damn eyes burned. "Name!" Velzara barked. The human, lean, scarred, and bound, lifted his chin slightly. "Captain Elias Reeve. Earth Colonial Forces. You know that already?" She circled him slowly, tail flicking with impatience. "No bravado. No spitting threats. No fear either. Curious. You abducted me from a shattered dropship. I've had worse mornings." Velzara's lips curled. Arrogance. Typical male bravado. And yet, not performative. Not like the other species she'd conquered, who quaked behind masks of bravado until she broke them. This one, he wasn't pretending. She moved closer, deliberately letting the thick scent of her pheromones curl through the air like smoke. A test. His nostrils flared slightly, but he didn't react. No dilation of pupils. No panic. Only stillness, like a creature watching, judging, waiting to see if the predator was worth fighting. "You know how this ends, human. I break you. Then I rebuild you. Loyal. Obedient. Useful." Reeves' voice dropped into a low rasp. "You can break bones. Maybe even my mind. But you won't break me." The silence between them thickened. Velzara had broken battalion leaders with less. Her race prized dominance, not just in battle, but biologically. Males across half the known galaxy had been made to kneel for her. She was bred for this. Engineered to dominate. So why did this man's resistance ignite something strange inside her? She turned sharply, hiding the flicker in her expression. "Leave us!" she ordered her guards. The chamber emptied, steel doors closing with a hiss. Alone now. She stepped close again. Reeves' chest rose and fell steadily, sweat glistening against bruised skin. There were burns on his ribs. Likely from her interrogators. "I didn't authorize torture," she muttered, inspecting the marks. Reeves' expression shifted. "Confusion? A crack in the wall? You care?" Velzara said nothing. Her fingers hovered over his side, brushing the edge of a half-healed wound. His breath caught, not from pain, but contact. Her touch wasn't cold. It wasn't cruel. It lingered. Her gaze dropped. His pulse strong. Steady. A body honed for survival. A mind refusing surrender. And that scent, not of submission. Not fear. Challenge. "You hate us," he said finally. "Humans. Because we don't play by your empire's rules." Velzara met his eyes. "You're chaotic. Disrespectful. Dangerous. And yet you're still standing here," Reeves said. "Alone. With me." She stepped back, heart pounding too loudly. He was right. Something about this moment bent the iron mold she'd been forged in. The thought disturbed her, and thrilled her. She turned away. "I should have you executed." "Then why haven't you?" Her back was to him, but she didn't answer. Not directly. Instead, she pressed a sequence on the control panel. The slab slowly rotated and lowered until Reeves stood upright, still bound, but no longer displayed like a specimen. He blinked, surprised. "What are you doing?" "Studying," she said. "You intrigue me, human." "Don't get your hopes up," he muttered. "I don't kneel easily." "I know," she whispered. "That's why I don't want you to." Later, Velzara sat alone in her quarters, the taste of him still on her tongue. Not literal, but a sensation she couldn't shake. Her own body betrayed her with warmth. Desire? No. That word didn't belong to warriors. It was weakness. She'd wanted a specimen. A tool. Maybe even a toy. But that man, Elias Reeve, was none of those things. He was a mirror. And she didn't like what she saw in it. Was it possible that her path, one paved in submission, control, and dominance, had led her to someone she couldn't command? And worse, did a part of her not want to? Velzara walked into the cell again. This time, no armor. Just the ceremonial tunic of her rank. She told herself it was to appear disarming, to get answers. But she knew better. Reeve looked up, surprised, and for the first time, she saw hesitation in him. Not fear, he didn't have that in him, but something softer. Uncertainty. Thought I'd be dead by now, he said. You're not, she replied flatly. Do you want to be? No. Then stop testing me. He nodded once. Then stop provoking me. That caught her off guard. She tilted her head slightly. You think I provoke you? Every time you look at me like I'm not supposed to fight back. Like I'm just another pawn you can bend. Her lips parted slightly. You are. No, he said quietly. I'm a man who's lost everything, held together by spite and instinct. You think that's easily broken? I think you're still standing because part of you wants something from me. His jaw clenched. His voice dropped. Maybe I'm just trying to figure out why the woman threatening to rebuild me keeps showing up alone and doesn't finish the job. She took a slow step forward. Close enough to feel the heat off his skin. Because you're not like the others. And what does that make me to you? I don't know, she admitted. And that infuriates me. The silence crackled. Her breath hitched, just slightly. His eyes locked onto hers like gravity pulling stars into orbit. She hated how human pupils could be so expressive. So deep. You could drown in them if you weren't careful. He didn't flinch when she touched his chest this time. He was still bound, but there was no fear. Just heat. Her fingers pressed over the faint scars on his shoulder. I read your file, she murmured. You volunteered to stay behind when your squad retreated. You blew the charges under your own escape tunnel to keep them safe. It worked, he said. They got out. You should be dead. So should you. She smiled slightly. You still think I'm just a monster in command armor? No. I think you're something worse. She raised a brow. Worse? You're a person who doesn't know what she wants anymore. That one landed hard. She stepped back. I don't need to know what I want. I command entire fleets. I take what I want. His voice softened, but his words were sharp. But not me. No, she said. Not you. She released the binds on his wrists. He staggered slightly as they unlocked. He didn't run. Didn't attack. Just rubbed his sore wrists and looked at her like someone trying to solve an unsolvable riddle. I don't understand you, he admitted. She turned. Neither do I. She walked away, but his voice stopped her at the threshold. I'm not your pet project. She didn't turn around. You're not a project. Then what am I? She hesitated. Something I didn't expect to feel. The door closed between them. She leaned against the wall outside, eyes closed, her pulse racing. She didn't even know why she went to him every day. He wasn't giving her intelligence. He wasn't begging. He just kept being. And that was becoming unbearable. Later that night, she summoned her advisor. The elderly tactician, old and blind in one eye, tilted his head. Permission to speak freely, Commander? She nodded. You are compromised. I know. Then why do you delay? Because I don't know what's worth more anymore. Victory, or something I never thought I'd feel. His silence spoke louder than judgment. She left him and walked alone down the dark observation wing. Below, the stars moved slowly. She stared at them, searching for something that might explain this spiraling collision course she couldn't escape. When she returned to Reeves' cell again, he was standing. Not defiant. Just waiting. No bindings today? He asked. No need. You look tired. I haven't slept. Because of me? Yes. They stood in silence. He stepped forward, just one pace. Close enough that she could smell the salt of his skin. Hear the subtle tremble in his voice. And she hated it, how she craved the uncertainty. How she wanted to lean in instead of away. You scare me, Velzara, he said softly. Good. No. Not because of what you could do to me. But because I don't know what I'd do if you asked me to stay. She froze. I'm not supposed to feel this way, she said. Neither am I. You're the enemy. You were the enemy, she said. He reached out and touched her hand. She didn't stop him. His fingers slid along hers, rough and warm and real. I don't care what your people expect. I just know you keep coming back. And I keep letting you. She looked down at their joined hands. I thought I was in control. You're not. No. She pulled him in, and this time, their kiss wasn't calculated or strategic. It wasn't part of any interrogation. It was full of mistakes. Of vulnerability. Of everything both of them had been taught to suppress. It was war in reverse. And she let it happen. He pressed his forehead to hers. What now? She swallowed. I don't know. But I can't go back to what I was before you. Then don't. Her comm panel beeped. Orders. A war front. Reinforcements demanded. Her people wanted answers. Control. But all she wanted now was this strange, defiant creature who didn't bend and didn't break and made her feel something dangerous. Something warm. She looked at the panel, then back at him. I might have to choose soon. Then choose. I don't know if I'll survive either choice. You will, he said. You're the strongest person I've ever met. And she believed him. For the first time, not as a commander, but as a woman who had been fighting alone for too long. She squeezed his hand. And didn't let go. The message from High Matron Iksheri came encrypted, priority read. Velzara read it in silence, her jaw tightening with every line. Suspicion. Surveillance logs. Unauthorized cell access. Psychological compromise. Orders to prepare the prisoner for transfer and execution. Her fingers hovered over the comm panel. One press and her empire would reclaim control. One press and Reeve would be erased. She didn't press it. Instead, she shut the transmission and walked out, faster than she meant to, ignoring every salute and wary glance from subordinates who'd begun to notice the shift. The same commander who once crushed dissent now walked softer, said less, disappeared more often. She entered the containment wing. Reeve was waiting again. This time, there was something different in his eyes. Not confusion. Not defiance. Concern. You're late, he said. There's a price on your head. He blinked. Well, that escalated. They know. About us. What is us exactly? She didn't answer. Just stared at him, the fear she refused to name sitting heavy in her chest. She walked to the panel, started entering a command code. What are you doing? He asked. Releasing you. His voice dropped. Where would I go? There's nowhere safe on this ship for me. Then stay close to me. And when they come for you too? She hesitated. Let them. He stepped forward. Vel, are you willing to throw away your command for me? I'm not sure it's mine anymore. She finished the sequence. The door slid open, and for the first time, he wasn't the prisoner. They moved through hidden corridors. She used her override clearance to bypass cameras. Every step was a countdown. Every breath a gamble. They made it to her private quarters, restricted to all but her DNA. He looked around, absorbing the surreal intimacy of being somewhere few had ever entered. I still don't understand why, he said. Why me? I told you, she whispered. Because I don't know how not to want you anymore. His voice cracked. And what happens when they find out? They already have. He looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, he reached for her not from desire or tension, but something deeper. He pulled her in, slow and unhurried, resting his hand over her heart. You don't owe me anything, he said. That's the problem. I want to. She leaned into him. They didn't speak for a long time. Words had done enough damage. Silence felt safer. But silence didn't last. The door lock flashed red. Unauthorized override attempt. Then a second. Then force authorization. Emergency breach protocol. They're coming, she said. Let me go. No. You can't stop them. I can buy us time. Reeve grabbed her wrist. I won't let you burn everything for me. I already have. She threw open a floor panel and shoved a stealth containment pod into active state. Get in. No. I'm not asking. He hesitated, then nodded. This better not be the last time I see you. She looked at him, and for once, she didn't hide what flickered in her eyes. Longing. Regret. Fear. She kissed him hard, then sealed the pod and activated the cloaking sequence. The doors blew open seconds later. Matron Iksheri herself stepped through, flanked by elite enforcers. Velzara stood tall, hands folded behind her back. Where is the human? Executed, Vel said. The matron's eyes narrowed. You're lying. I burned the body. Like the others. We saw the logs. You visited him daily. I interrogated him daily. You shared meals. Observation technique. I let him grow comfortable. You touched him. A test of species-specific nerve response. You kissed him. Silence. Iksheri took a step closer. You broke protocol. Let your instincts guide you. You fell. I chose, Velzara replied. There's a difference. You're unfit for command. Then take it. The matron blinked, caught off guard. You'd surrender your rank? I'm tired of pretending control is power. It's not. Power is choosing love in a place built on fear. A murmur went through the guards. Iksheri's face twisted with fury. You've doomed yourself. Then let me burn. But I'll burn on my own terms. She expected cuffs. Punishment. Death. But instead, the matron turned and left. That night, Vel sat alone. She couldn't tell if she'd won anything. Her room felt too quiet. Her chest felt too hollow. The pod opened silently. Reeve stepped out, eyes wary. You're still alive, he said. I think I'm already dead, she replied. No. You're more alive now than ever. She looked at him, raw and unguarded. I don't know what comes next. He walked to her, sat beside her. Then let's figure it out together. She leaned against him, letting herself be held, for once not as a commander or conqueror, but as a woman who finally found something she couldn't crush, command, or control. Something that simply stayed. And that was more terrifying than war. But far more worth it. The tribunal called her a traitor. Velzara didn't argue. They stripped her insignia, erased her rank, revoked every privilege she'd bled to earn. She watched in silence, unmoved. Pride in her chest had long since shifted to something deeper. Reeve watched from the shadows. He wasn't allowed in the chamber, not officially. But he stayed. Not as her prisoner. As her witness. They didn't execute her. Exile was worse. Assigned to a transport bound for the French planets, declared. No longer Ketheri in heart or duty. The guards who escorted her wouldn't meet her eyes. No one did. She stepped onto the rust-covered freighter with nothing but a sealed data chip and the name she was born with, one she hadn't spoken in decades. Reeve was already waiting inside. They let you board? She asked. No. I snuck on. Why? Because wherever you go now, I go too. She sat beside him on the cold bench. This ship's barely held together. So are we. She gave him a tired smile. You really think we can survive this? I don't know. But I've never felt more alive than I did the moment you chose me over them. They didn't touch. They didn't have to. The silence between them wasn't empty anymore. It was full. The freighter jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind a legacy she no longer wanted, and a war she no longer believed in. They arrived on Terran 9, a dust world colony with no allegiance, no oversight, and no expectations. Just broken things, forgotten people, and room to disappear. They took shelter in a half-ruined outpost. Power was spotty. Water tasted like rust. The air was clean enough. Barely. They rebuilt slowly. Reeve repaired the generator. Vel hunted food. There was no rank. No orders. Just survival. And yet it was peace. One night, rain fell for the first time in months. She stood outside and let it soak her skin, tilting her head back, arms open. Reeve came out quietly, barefoot, shirt clinging to him. "You look happy," he said. "I don't know what this is. But it doesn't hurt. I'll take that." She turned to him. "Do you regret any of it?" He shook his head. "You? No." He stepped closer. "We're not the same people who met in that cell. I'm not sure I ever knew who I was before that. Then let's figure it out. Together." He kissed her under the rain, slow and grounding. She didn't flinch. She didn't command. She just felt. Warm. Real. They shared the same bed from that night forward. Not out of lust. Not out of need. But because waking up beside someone who saw you at your worst and didn't leave was worth more than any throne. Weeks passed. Then months. The galaxy moved on. Empires fought. Borders shifted. But peace never lasts. A scout ship landed near their perimeter one evening. No markings. But the configuration was unmistakable. Kethri military design, newer than anything she'd seen. Someone had found her. They watched from a ridge. Reeve scanned it with makeshift optics. "No insignia," he said. "Could be mercs. Or worse. They won't leave without blood," Vel said. "We can't run again." "No. We stand." She geared up. Not in war armor, she'd thrown that away. Just leathers. Light. Quiet. Practical. Reeve checked his old rifle. "You sure about this?" She looked at him. "They came for me. Then they'll meet me too." The first shot came just after dusk. A warning round from the ridge. She took position behind the broken solar tower, eyes locked on movement. 2, maybe 3 figures. One approached with a white flag. She stepped out before Reeve could stop her. The soldier removed their helmet. A Kethri female. Young. Nervous. "We're not here to kill you," she said. "Then why come armed?" "Because we didn't know what you'd become." Vel narrowed her eyes. "Say it. You're a myth now. The one who chose a human. The one who gave up everything." Vel didn't blink. "Did you come for revenge?" "No. We came for help." That word hit harder than a bullet. "What kind of help?" "The matron is dead. Civil war. Everything's falling apart. Some of us, we don't believe in the old ways anymore. You think I'm your savior? I think you're the only one who knows what it means to walk away from power. And survive it." Vel turned to Reeve. His voice was steady. "You don't owe them anything. I know. But if you help them, you're not going back to who you were. You'll become something else. Maybe it's time." He held her gaze. "Then I'll stand with you again." She faced the scout. "I won't lead armies. We don't need armies. We need hope." Velzara laughed once, dry and bitter. "Then you came to the wrong exile." The girl didn't move. "Please." Vel didn't answer right away. But something in her cracked. Not like before. Not like love tearing her open. This was something new. Purpose. She turned to Reeve. He nodded. "Let's build something better." And this time, they walked forward together. No chains. No thrones. Just 2 broken souls who learned how to heal, first each other, and now, maybe the galaxy.